Hi, my name's Sean Miller-Ronchker. I'm Chair of Birkbeck Student Union and I'm on the National Executive of the NUS. I was one of the people who helped organise the demonstration yesterday. I just wanted to introduce the panel and I'll say a few words and they'll start. We have Josh Kitto on the end here, who's a student from SOAS, who was kettled for over 6 hours. This is Claire Solomon, the president of ULU, who was also an organiser of the demonstration yesterday. This is Professor Peter Horwood, Professor of Philosophy at Kingston University and a former tutor of Alfie Meadows, who was critically injured at the protest yesterday. And at the end we have Nina Power, who's a senior lecturer at Roehampton University. I just wanted to say, we've had a press conference earlier today about the general demonstration yesterday and how successful 30,000 or more students being on the street protesting against this illegitimate and weak government's plans that will damage and decapitate education and ruin the chances of young people in this country. We're now focusing on the police tactics and particularly the injury to Alfie Meadows, who is very seriously ill as we speak. There are several things we're calling for: a public inquiry into the policing of demonstrations recently. We're very concerned that policing has become disjointed from the public. Protesters don't know what to expect. The police seem to be unaccountable and above the law almost. Trust in police has been lost recently. It has been over the last few years, but particularly recently. Kettling people, possibly illegally, for many hours in freezing cold temperatures, including school children, is morally wrong. We want openness and cooperation from the police with the family, the media and any inquiries. We want full disclosure from the police. We want to know the name of the unit the officer was in, the officer's name himself. And we just want to stress that the Met is not above the law. And you know, if there was violence yesterday, I was on that march and I saw police charging at people and behaving very irresponsibly. You know, we're having police horses being ridden at 14-year-old children. I think people in this country should look at the reality, not a picture of a cracked window in a car, and should actually see what's actually going on and the damage this government's doing. So I'll now introduce Claire to give an overview of yesterday's events and policing. Okay.
Thanks. Okay, so I'm Claire Solomon, President of University of London Union. At the last press conference that we held this morning, we received details during the press conference of a student that had been admitted to hospital and had brain surgery on his brain following a brain hemorrhage following an attack by the police last night at the demonstration. We now know the name of the student. His name is Alfie Meadows. He's 20. He's a very good friend of mine. He's an outstanding person. He is very gentle and he's very passionate about this cause. And just want to send my deepest sympathies to his family at what must be a very troubling time, and please urge the media to have some respect for their privacy and for the turmoil they must be going through at this time. It obviously is rather shocking and disgusting, the behaviour that we've seen on the last couple of demonstrations, and particularly yesterday when it appeared that police were coming to the demonstration fully geared up, in advance had already told us that they were not going to guarantee, they would not charge at students with horses, that they were going to come with full riot gear and dogs, and they would not guarantee not to use kettling methods to contain students in what we call an illegal act. So when we go on these demonstrations, we have in advance many a time discussed with the police routes and what is and isn't acceptable on these demonstrations, and we've tried to provide them with a bit of insight or information as to what it is that sparks students off. And I think what we have to ask here is, why were the police using these tactics of, first of all, guiding the demonstration, but then stopping it, provoking, and then attacking? At which point do we know when they're protecting us and they're going to attack us? This is, outrageous that the police are doing this to us when we are just exercising our democratic right to protest. There were children as young as 8 on this demonstration. Actually, there were 1,000 woodcraft folk on the demonstration, and for the police not to be able to help us, assist us in this protest, I think they need to seriously think about what they've done, and I think somebody needs to be held responsible for this. I'm going to hand over to other people now, and then I can come back for questions, but we will be fully supporting any launch of a campaign or investigation into the police actions on the demonstration yesterday.
Now we'll have Josh Kitto, who's a SOAS student who was kettled yesterday, who will make a statement about, make a statement about his experiences yesterday.
I was kettled for over 6 hours yesterday between 5 o'clock and 11 o'clock. At about 5 o'clock I was trying to get out of the kettle, and I was trying to negotiate with the police to be able to leave for between 5 and 8:30. I saw several sort of incidents of police brutality and police denying basic human rights to protesters. One particular moment was after the kettling on Westminster Bridge, where I had left the bridge. There was some school kids behind me who had just been let off. One of them murmured something under his breath about the police, I assume. They grabbed him by the shoulder too, one on each side. He said, "Get your hands off me." They then grabbed his throat, charged him, pinned him up against a wall, and said, "Why would you call us filthy pigs?" And people took out their cameras, people took out their phones, just trying to record this incident, and the police moved us forward and said, "Move out of the area immediately." So there was no way I could record this without feeling threatened myself. It was horrific conditions. There were moments on the kettling of the bridge where they were letting people out, then they pushed forward, people didn't want to fall over, so they pushed back, and I was getting crushed. I couldn't breathe sometimes for about 30 seconds or so. There were times when I couldn't move for between sort of 15 and 20 minutes, not my hands, not my feet. And it was one of the most genuinely frightening experiences in my life. And I'm still pretty kind of shocked and shaken by it all. Okay.